So they call me the camper who never left because that's essentially how I started working at Camp Mac. I came for my senior year of youth camp, decided to be a counselor the week after that. Then I went home for 3 days and came back to have dinner with a friend who was on staff and ended up staying for 3 more weeks. The funny part is, I really did not plan that. It was just that every day when it was time to go, I wasn't ready to leave. And that wasn't a new concept for me either. My very first year at camp, I'm pretty sure I fought my parents when they came to pick me up. And the year after that, I came with a younger cousin, and she got really homesick. She was crying one night and wouldn't go to sleep, so the counselor woke me up to see if I could help. And when my cousin told me that she wanted to go home, I actually started yelling at her because I just couldn't understand why anyone would ever want to leave Camp Mac. People always ask me what my favorite memory of camp is, and I think I always answer differently because there's so many great ones. I could tell stories about glitter and water balloons, garden gnomes and legendary prank nights, about snakes and turtles and chickens I've worked with at the nature cabin and their many great escapes, about the crazy things that the kids in my family group did or that happened in staff housing. Those are usually the stories I tell because they're a lot of fun. And camp is a lot of fun, but it's also a lot more than that. Sometimes I think it's important to tell the other stories about the friends I've made at Camp Mac, that I keep up with more than most of the people I know from high school. About the week I came to camp after my parents told me they were getting divorced, and 2 counselors held me as I cried in the camp bathroom for what felt like hours. About the serious campfires and the private night hike talks with God under the stars. About how being a counselor for the first time really opened up my heart for other people. About how I was once healed by prayer at a camp workshop. I don't think even the people closest to me understand how much God has used Camp Mac in my life. There's just something about this place that opens me up, and I know that no matter what's going on in my life, no matter what I've been struggling with, I can always come here. I can always come home to Camp Mac. And the memories and the family that I've made here, they aren't ever going away. I wouldn't be who I am without that sanctuary and the people who have fought to preserve it and given up time to serve here. So to all of you who are currently or who have been a part of Camp Mac, I just want to say thank you. I'm so grateful for the 3 summers I've had on staff, and I know that not living and breathing camp this summer is going to be pretty devastating. The only reason it's okay is because I know I can always come back. I think that was
Yeah,
short.
thanks, Lacie, for sharing that. I know camp has meant a lot to you over the years. So, what would have been your first summer at camp?
Oh man. Um
I mean,
I
we can
came to,
always dig in the Wabi waves, but
yeah, I actually don't know the year. It just feels like I've always been there. My parents actually counseled together when my mom was pregnant with me. So we always say I was a camper before birth.
yeah, yeah,
um,
that's an exclusive club.
yeah. But yeah, I started coming as a beginner, and then I've just come every year since, sometimes a couple times a summer.
Awesome. So, with all your years of summer staff, you talked about some of the fun things that have happened and some of the maybe not as glamorous things that have happened. So, if there was, I'm going to ask a 2-part question here then.
Okay.
If there was one job that you could do again and only do that job, what would that be? And then what is the one summer staff job that I couldn't pay you $1 million to do again?
Okay. The one that I would love to just do over and over again is night hikes. I love night hikes. I love taking groups out for night hikes. Camp Mac is like the best place to view the stars, and I love to um, convince the kids that there's this creepy sniffing, and I just have a grass in my hands and I like shake it and I'm like, it's the niffin's tail. And It's just a lot of fun to trick them, and then you teach them to like think to think critically and to pay attention to their senses, basically, with that little trick. It's just fun, and they love the lightning bugs, of course, and all of that. So night hikes are definitely what I would love to just do maybe not every day of the week, but um, I loved doing that. The thing you couldn't pay me to do is either putting in piers or messing with the summit. Because
Yep.
that slide is just constantly falling apart, and no matter what we do to try to keep it together, it's just an uphill battle with that thing. And putting in piers, if it's cold, it's just dreadful. So
Yep. Those stay in a little too long sometimes, and I know taking them out in early November.
yeah.
So now that you're not spending summers at Camp Mac, for those that might not know you, what are you spending your time doing?
So I am a social work student, and I'm currently working on my master's. This summer, I'll be finishing up. This is my last term for my master's degree. I'll be finishing up my last term, so taking um, 4 different classes, and then also doing an internship with an agency called Valley Oaks Health in Lafayette, Indiana. I work with their Path Compass programs with primarily the homeless population, and I do therapy with those individuals.
Wow. So did your Camp Mac experience inspire you towards going into social work? Does it feel like you're working at becoming a full-time counselor, just not in a camp setting?
Um, in some ways, yeah. I think without camp, I definitely wouldn't have ended up in social work. I mean, maybe God would have found something else to like push me in that direction, but um for a long time I was a pretty emotionally closed off person. I wasn't very in touch with my emotions. I wasn't a super empathetic person, I don't think. Um and through a couple of friendships I made at camp and like kind of defining moments, I definitely started to realize how important that side of myself was, and how I could impact others in really positive ways if I was like more in touch with that part of myself. And I think camp
Mhm.
also just really taught me how to care for other people. Like I just saw how my counselors cared for me, and how like the people that I met there, like how we all cared for each other, and I wanted to do that more in other areas of my life. And so that's kind of what triggered the chain reaction that eventually led me to social work, I guess.
Wow. Well, I have to say that all of us at Camp Mac have really enjoyed working with you and for all the experience that you brought. And for all of that, we want to say thank you for being a part of who we are and helping us in our mission. So thank you, Lacie, for taking the time today to share, as well as everything that you have done and all the work you'll do as a social worker. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry that we couldn't do this in person and that we couldn't see everybody at the annual dinner, but I'm glad that we could still do this.
Yep, same. Well, Lacie, don't study too hard, and we hope to see you at camp soon.
Yeah, hope to see you too.